Alrighty, Sunday Night Live, seeing out the weekend, preparing for the working week, from Monday to Friday, people, anyway, of which I am one. So, yeah. What's happening in the world, people? We're just cruising on in our little blue marble, spinning through space. It's me getting deep and meaningful there. It's I've got to get up to speed. Man, I had a little bit to drink last night. Hello, who's here? Luke and Kirsten and Musical Aviator. Yeah, we are getting cold nights from here on out. I think if I look at the no, actually, it's not that bad this week. The minimums are staying around, mostly around between 8 and 10 Celsius, which is not terrible for minimum. But what tends to happen is, because there's a lot of humidity, moisture from the rain, that makes it feel much colder. So that's what we are dealing with, at least, down south. I don't know about up north. Nobody. Hello. Good evening to you, sir. And we'll cruise on by. So, that's right. I was going to look. Did I miss any big news stories? Someone road raging. Wild wintry weather to batter, soak and freeze southeastern Australia. Significant snow and heavy rain to hit Australia's east coast. Ugh, what a week. Disturbing discovery among children's school bags. I'm like, okay, it's clickbait, but I'm going to click on it anyway. Oh, it was a snake. I thought so. Yeah, pretty obvious clickbait, really. Hey, Luke, how's it going? Yes, 2 new cases in Melbourne. Dogecoin rising again. What else is happening? Oh yeah, people are trying to. New South Wales wants to get a federally funded quarantine facility, as we've apparently had one approved in Melbourne or in Victoria. Well, that's a scary and not necessarily true headline. The Delta variant COVID mutation could devastate the world again. It could. Then again, it might not. Heist, how you doing? Oh, yeah. Nobody seeing a clickbait title, knowing it's clickbait, knowing it's manipulative, and clicking on it anyway. Yeah. And, yeah, 9 times out of 10, the story is shit. Okay, why clickbait? Why not just say family find taipan, super fucking dangerous snake in the kid's bag? That grabs you. At least we got past that worst bit of clickbait where fucking everything is you won't believe what happens next, and it's like, get fucked. Just fucking say it. Sorry. Man, this is a Florida man story. Man looking for shark teeth in Florida River survives an alligator bite to the head. Yeah, his head might not have been the most important part of his body. Ooh, Nigeria has banned Twitter because the tech giant removed a tweet by the country's president. Okay, this is fun. Okay, so the president threatened retribution on some secessionists, and Twitter said that's incitement to violence. Oh dear, Twitter, you're so funny. Abigail, hello. I don't know. That's a random comment from like an hour and a half before I went live. I have no idea if they're a Nazi sympathizer or just stupid. I like that nobody, one of your videos specifically wants not to click it. Yep, that's going to get people to click. Saying don't click. Oh, yes, we had the deer loose in Fitzroy, which got caught and euthanized. We were talking about that last night, I think. Free popcorn for vaccinated Melburnians at the Classic and Lido cinemas. Nice. Anything else worth talking about? Oh, this is a good line. Someone from Microsoft, Kate Crawford, saying AI is neither artificial nor intelligent. It's a good attention-grabbing soundbite. AI as it exists now is certainly bullshit. AI is just replicates the, and we've seen this over and over and over again. So-called AI now just replicates the prejudices of the person or people who coded it. But again, having worked in technology for decades, it really shits me when you get, and it's usually guys, the old tech bros, worshipping the algorithm. The algorithm is perfect, and it's like it's a set of fucking instructions written by a human, and as we've seen far too many times, that humans' biases and prejudices can very easily get baked into the code. It's a safe bet. Anyone who starts talking about AI and algorithms being neutral and whatnot is a fucking idiot and not to be paid attention to. Where is size diversity in Fashion Week? Lol, like Fashion Week cares about that. Fashion Week is gross. I think it happened once in Melbourne in Fashion Week. I sort of twigged eventually what was happening to me. I was going past a hotel in the Melbourne CBD, and this cluster of women came out. And I didn't pay much attention to that, but they came out. It was like a dozen of them. And they were all so tall. And I went, oh, fuck, this is weird. What's happening? And then I realized they were all models, and models tend to be very tall. But it was super weird because I was just kind of in my own little bubble, and and I mean like a dozen women came out and sort of went past me, and they were all like fucking 6 inches taller than me. And I was like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? And it was Attack of the Models. Chris, hello. Nobody, I love that. The video where you say don't click is childish. Poorly made music video for the song If You're Gonna Fart, Don't Light a Match. It's terrible. But in your defense, you told people not to click it. So you did the honorable thing. So So I was just looking at the media's continuing weird psychotic attacks on Meghan Markle. One of them with question mark. Meghan Markle fled the UK with $10 million worth of jewels? Huh? And then with their big defense when the story's complete bullshit. Oh, we're just asking the question. Just asking the question. It's just shit. Oh, there's a solar eclipse in the UK and parts of Europe this Thursday. Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. Oh, fuck. What a headline. HIV positive woman had coronavirus for 216 days, mutated 30 times in 6 months, according to study. Yeah. I'd want to see some plausible. And could a simple pill beat COVID-19? Pfizer may have a cure by the end of the year. By cure, I assume they mean treatment, which would be good. So, Chris, you looked at one place today for moving, looking at one tomorrow. Hopefully, you get one of them both. Awesome. Well, that's nice. That is very nice. I'm going to have drink this. My lovely rose-colored clarified cocktail. It's rose-colored because it's got cherry liqueur in it, which is, and this is again the clarification process. This isn't it, but the cherry liqueur is basically that red. And the clarification process did this to it. Oh, Kirsten, you're also looking for an apartment to move into. Nice. And Matt, hello. You're going blind. It's a weird old optical illusion, isn't it? This is actually an older shirt. This is a shirt I bought a while ago. Like 2 years ago. And then I got too fat to wear it. But now I've lost weight and I can wear it again. Yay. So cracking out the oldies. I love that. Nobody showed Aidsy a song. He said, "You're a sick cunt." Nice. Nice. And this is with my Magic Clear Ice. Looking sexy as hell. I like that, Abigail. The Melbourne lockdown vibe today, yelling out computer end program into empty streets just to make sure. Yep, good move. Oh, that's nice. Oh man, that's a nice drink. I freeformed that a little bit. Typically when I make the cocktails for the YouTube channel, I'm sure I've explained this many times. I make them a second time for close-up shots to make my videos more sexy, a bit more dynamic and have a bit more happening. And so then I've got the cocktail again. It's usually middle of the day and I usually don't want to drink the cocktail in the middle of the day. So often, just for fun, I milk clarify them and then drink them on the streams during the week. And this one I made today, and also because it takes a while, the clarification process, investing a bit of time. So I'm like, well, I'm going to make it worth my while. I'm going to make it in 2 drinks worth. So I got a bit creative with this one. It was I was putting different stuff. The standard cocktail, I thought, I'll put a bit more of that in. I'm going to put some whiskey in, and it's basically random concoction, and it's really yummy. And yes, Shieldsy, I will drink water, particularly in the second half. Oh yeah, that's good. Can taste the whiskey a little bit because it was 100 proof whiskey, Wild Turkey. The cherry liqueur is coming through. It's a good one, basically. Try which one was that? It was who knows? I've been shooting a whole bunch of and editing a whole bunch of videos today. So this is my gin one. This is one made with Steve. The video I made with Steve the bartender's gin. It's unsurprisingly coming out very clear. It's a little bit yellow. It's just a tiny bit yellow from the applejack and apricot liqueur in it. So that's probably going to be good too. But yeah, this one turned out well. I like it. My computer was doing stupid shit with rendering the last video. And if it fucks, it's running in the next room. If it fucks up again, I'll switch it off. Come back to it tomorrow. Find out with that. That's right, Purple Rain. So I did the Purple Rain video, which is going live tomorrow. So is this the Tamarama door slammer? What did I say was in a Tamarama door? Because this is the trouble when you make up a drink. It's like, what was in it again? What's in an Alabama slammer? Why is it called Alabama Slammer? Because it sounds good, and a lot of people do it as a shot, so you slam it down. Diffords. Oh yeah, slow gin, and I was trying to remember because it confused me with the cherry. I thought, what had cherry? No, because I actually used the last of my slow gin, and foolishly, I'd forgotten I'd want it for a close up, and I was going, oh, okay, well, I just need something red then, and I had cherry liqueur, and I thought, yeah, so it was a cherry slow gin. So I just cherry liqueur. It's not as interesting as a cherry gin, but is nice nevertheless. It's much sweeter than a cherry gin. Yes, so that is a Tamarama. That's my mutated Tamarama door slammer. Cool. So what's nobody been doing? You've installed voice recognition to his computer to dictate instead of typing. Having trouble getting it to write swear words. 4 attempt to write fuck. I think, I don't know how it works with computers, but yeah, I don't know, you often know with phones when you're doing it and it autocorrects to duck. Apparently, particularly with swear words, to get it to know it's a thing that you want to spell, you have an entry in your directory and and make it someone's name, you know. This is the contact for cunt fuck. And then when the phone remembers you have that name in your contacts list, so then when you put it in texts, it like assumes you're spelling that person's name and it doesn't autocorrect it. Don't think that would work for a computer, but I'm not sure unless you've got an add to dictionary feature. I'm not that familiar with voice recognition. I know AZ is trying to do it on his. Raiders, sure. Oh, yes. It's a bit like that optical illusion building in Docklands. This can kind of do your head in a bit, this shirt. Yes, I just liked it because it was a bit unusual. It's unusual. I think this one complete. Yeah, I don't need to filter that again. That is very clear. How much is... Well, there's only a little bit to go. So a little bit to go. It's still a bit sludgy. The magic of the clarification process. You can also do it. There's other stuff you can do it like, what's it called? Pectinase and agar, I think will do it. Agar solution. They're like these gels that do a similar thing to what the milk curds do. They sort of bond with elements in the liquid. It's what chefs use when they're making those clear soups like consomme, whatever. I think that's what you call it. And so the soup has all the flavor of, like the meat, the vegetables, the whatever, but they do this clarification process. And I think they use pectinase or maybe agar. And the soup, ends up looking like this, but it has all the flavors in it. So, Ray, do you think the Docklands building might be Channel 9 HQ? Might be. Yeah, I have no idea. I know the building you're talking about, but I don't really go down there very often, so I don't know what's there. Oh, no, but a using Dragon. That one's been around for years, the Dragon Naturally Speaking software. I think Aidsy was feeling good at the progress he was making is getting it to understand formatting and dictation, which he was pretty excited about because he's trying to write scripts with it. I like his, not bad, but can make some dumb errors. Yeah, well, me too. Me too. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're just going to keep on drinking, and that'll probably make you make more dumb errors. So I pulled some oranges off a neighborhood tree on a walk today because there's like hanging over the footpath. That one's really small. This one's a bit bigger, but they're very pale. I don't know if they're going to get more orange. I don't know if they're going to get bigger because you get ones in the supermarket that are, much bigger and much more orange. So I'm interested in what the juice in these would be like. So, Abigail, you had a psychiatrist who used Dragon to write letters because he couldn't type to save himself. Well, that's why Aidsy's using it. And that's just his dexterity and motor skills are so bad at the moment. Even keyboards, like he certainly can't use a pen very well, but even keyboards are difficult for him at the moment. So he's been doing the speech recognition software to help him write things. So hopefully that works. Right, as your lemon tree produces small footballs. Yeah, does it do they have really thick rinds? Because I've had that in a previous house with a lemon tree. You'd get some pretty sizable lemons, and then you'd like cut them in half, and it'd be a really fucking thick rind, like way more than you're expecting. But yeah, Greg, good evening. Good evening to you. So yeah, I think speech recognition stuff is excellent for a whole bunch of reasons. Though there was a joke back in the 90s because in the 90s, the speech recognition software kind of worked, but was mostly shit. And the Microsoft team who were working on speech recognition, they had T-shirts made up that said, "I helped wreck a nice beach," because they found it really hilarious that the speech recognition had a lot of trouble with the word recognize speech. Like when they said, saying to the thing, "Do you recognize speech?" It came back as, "Do you wreck a nice beach?" Which they found humorous, that it was like not getting its own name right. So nerd humor. Oh, Abigail, I feel it. The lockdown, chronic fatigue, teaming up, tag team, kick your ass recently. KO'd your sleep cycle, coming for your sanity. Well, incredibly likely that the lockdown will actually end this week. Something very unexpected and very bad would have to happen to extend lockdown. There will be some restrictions still in place, but we won't actually be locked down. Like, businesses will be open. There'll be capacity limits again, and we do, take the baby steps back to where we were 2 precious weeks ago. 2 precious weeks ago, living in a fool's paradise with everything open and no one wearing masks and thinking everything was hunky-dory. And then reality came and kicked us in the head. I'm glad the live streams help, Abigail. I mean, that was always the purpose of them from, more than a year ago when I started doing them, just to provide a little oasis, some interaction, and attempts to maintain sanity in the face of a world which seemed to be making a concerted effort to wreck our sanity. Needed to soldier on, basically. So I am glad the streams help, because that was indeed their purpose. We soldier on. And Shieldsey's got to take me to drink water, which is good. I'm drinking way less now than I was at this stage last year. Certainly for a couple of weeks of the live streams, I was having several drinks every stream. So that meant I was having several drinks every night, basically. And by several, I mean 4 or 5 or 6 in terms of standard drinks. And yeah, after doing that for a while, something in my brain just went, oh, this is probably a bad idea. This is probably a bad idea. And so I cut right back. Oh, nice. I'm glad to help you feel less lonely since the move as well, Kirsten. Excellent. That's a nice offer, nobody. You get chats and hangouts, Zooms, that sort of thing. Luke, your father had the purple monkey Bondi body spyware crap. Okay, that's something that I don't fully understand. Oh, nobody, you're on your phone. If you make loads of typos, that's why. That makes perfect sense. Man, okay, that's a winner of a clarified cocktail. The Tamarama Door Slammer itself was pretty good, honestly. You like the tropical sort of drinks because it had the pineapple juice in it. It was good. But this clarified version, also good. So pretty pleased with that. So I've kind of sort of got 2 original creations this week. Not really. The daiquiri is just a normal daiquiri, but with the purple drops in it, the purple rain. But the Tamarama Door Slammer is an original cocktail. And then this gin one that I made, which was equal parts, like 1 ounce gin, 1 ounce. What else was it? Apricot liqueur and applejack. So it was 1 ounce gin, 1 ounce applejack, 1 ounce apricot liqueur, and it's nice. And then I thought, would it be better if I changed that ratio to make it center on the gin, make gin the hero? So I remade it with 1.5 ounces gin, 3/4 of an ounce applejack, 3/4 of an ounce apricot. I personally think that was better. But you have to like gin for it to be better. Shieldy, you're looking for a juicer? I hopefully getting my replacement juicer this week. I don't know if you remember that big metal thing I had, which is one of my lockdown purchases. Yeah, and it was pretty good. You could squeeze all sorts of fruits in it, different sizes and whatnot, and it was great. And then I accidentally kind of left it for a day with a screw orange in it. I thought, oh, that's all gross. I can't hand scrub. I stupidly put it in the dishwasher, and it's not stainless steel. It's like an aluminium alloy, and it just went black, and there was all this carbonization outside, so it's fucked, and I couldn't clean, couldn't use it. It's like, okay, I fucking killed it. Good. So I ordered another one online because they're not very expensive. So yeah, raise my shirt's 1010 Latrobe Street. Channel 9 HQ is more like a busted Jenga set. There you go. That's the difference. Oh yeah. Okay. I'm a fan of that. Tastes almost like a musk stick lolly. like dangerous lolly like that drink. It doesn't really taste like booze at all, but I can feel it. It's definitely made of booze. I can feel the fact that it's made of booze. Speaking of made of booze, this is as well, and I think I will have a taste of this, even though it's not quite finished. Just taste this one, and then we'll be on water. Don't you worry, Shieldsy. All right. That looks like water. I'm just drinking water now, so that's good. Spin the little magic ice ball around. Well, it's not a ball. Although I do have, I need something to chop this ice ball mold up, because I think I can do a hack where, because this is the thing I use to make, this is one of the things I use to make the clear ice, an insulated cup. And this like fits in there. And I'd just do it like that, except that doesn't fit in my freezer. My freezer shelves are about, and they're not adjustable, they're about this high. So then my idea was, well, cut it in half, and then I'd have two different things of two that I could do it with. And not so much, as it turns out. I don't have anything. I sort of cut a groove. I was doing what I thought was the sharpest knife in the kitchen, and it's not made for this sort of thing. I want one of those things. You know, you see the ads occasionally for world's sharpest knife, and infomercials, and the dude will be like cutting a shoe with the knife. I want one of those knives. Look, alcohol is mostly water. So this is mostly water, okay? There's just some other things in there, but it's mostly water. Okay, that's not as sweet as the other one. I didn't expect it to be. Ooh, it's good though. Should have cleansed my palate from that. Actually, I'm going to eat a chip. If I eat a chip, that'll take the sweetness out of my mouth. And then maybe that drink will stand on its own. Just a sec while I grab a chip. Draw this packet. An open packet of chips. Bourbon glazed sticky ribs. That's outrageous. You got recommended The Dummy's Guide to Johnny Walker, US YouTube channel. Fascinating. I like the sound of that. Here, I'm going to eat a chip. More ASMR, eating chips. Okay. Let me. Dummy's Guide to Jack Daniels? Is that what you called it? Johnny Walker. What did I say? Jack Daniels. Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker for Dummies. Scotch for Dummies. Let me have a look. That's an interesting concept. Wow, 38,000 subscribers. A lot of people think it's interesting. Looks like it's 4 dudes. Joined YouTube. They're coming up on their 6th anniversary on YouTube. Good on you, chaps. Right, so they're trying to explain Scotch to various people. Yeah, nice. So it's actually called Scotch for Dummies, like with a letter 4. So Scotch for Dummies. Yeah, looks interesting. I watched the Whiskey Tribe. Yeah, Goku, I don't know if you're confused or if you think you're funny. Yeah, that's your second comment, and it's as incomprehensible as the first one. So I'm not sure what point you're trying to make or what point you think you're making. But yeah. And I don't know if there's any point in asking you to be clearer. But, I'm a sucker for punishment. So just pointing out it's not clear what you're trying to say. Not even a little bit, in fact. Raiders, does he chase UFOs? Maybe. Maybe. Who knows? Oh, okay. ASMR. Well, you don't necessarily need to get ASMR, but the idea, and again, this is pseudoscience at best, but a lot of people find it comforting. But the idea is the idea is these sounds somehow trigger memories that make you feel good. Oppression existed before and after the world wars. Yeah, okay, you dense motherfucker. It's a joke, okay? Do you understand the concept of a joke, you thick fuckwit? Me calling the D-Day landing Antifa dealing with Nazis how they should be dealt with. It's a joke, you stupid fucking cunt. Jesus. There are probably few things more pathetic in the world than a fucking moron who thinks they're smart. I mean, stupid people off being stupid is annoying enough. But a fucking moron who thinks they're smart is so fucking pathetic. So I think we can safely say that person is not worth any more time. But it's just, oh my God, that's me. That was it a Dunning-Kruger in real life there? Someone who is too stupid to realize how stupid. Although again, lots of stupid people don't act like they're smart. Lots of stupid people don't try to act superior. But then there's the ones who do. And they actually think they are smart. And it's because they're so fucking stupid, they aren't actually capable of understanding sort of how fucked they are. I'm putting these away because I'm Mr. Weight Loss, boys. I'm only having a couple chips. Because I can just see myself continuing to eat those. And I don't want to do that. So we'll put them away. Because if they sit in front of me, I will eat them. But yeah. That's tonight's demonstration of the Dunning-Kruger effect, brought to you by that fuckwit, who's gone now. So yeah. Oh, Fox, it was just a very, very sad fucking loser. Abigail, yes, I know the Dunning-Kruger effect is a bit more nuanced than that. The essence of it, though, is that you get people who are so out of their depth on a particular subject, it's impossible for them to understand how little they understand. And there's this tendency to act like you know what you're talking about when they really fucking don't. But yes, it's a fun thing, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Nobody, there'd be an audience for your loud burps, ASMR burps. There would absolutely be an audience for that. because there's something for everyone, is what I'm saying, or someone for everything. It's not necessarily a big audience, but there would be an audience. And shit happens. I mean, I still remember a friend of mine from the early days of YouTube. She doesn't post on YouTube anymore, but she used to. And one of her videos started getting many more views than her other videos. And she's like, oh, I wonder what that is. And then in the comments at some point, someone put a timestamp in. And she's like, oh, that's interesting. They've mentioned a particular time in the video. And then there was another comment saying, oh, don't draw attention to it, she'll know or something. And so she goes, well, what the fuck is this? And the timestamp was her sneezing. And she's like, what the fuck is that about? And she followed back from these comments. She looked at their channels and their likes and stuff and found out there was like a fetish group that like trawled internet videos for videos of pretty women sneezing because that somehow turned them on. So, sneezing fetish. Who knew? Shieldsy, manual juicer, $70 plus shipping. The one I got was I lashed out. It was about $30. Oh, yes, I know that one. There's the thing about being dead. It only affects the people around you. You're dead. You don't know you're dead. The people in your life are massively affected, but you don't know you're dead. And it's the same with stupid people. Safa, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Oh, and also I was going to say, Kirsten, you gave the hint. I actually got the email from Archie Rose saying, watch this spot. Rums are coming. So I am watching the spot for rum that's coming. Derry, hello. How are you this evening? I drink with my pinky out because I'm sophisticated. That made me really nervous because that's a really big glass. It's got a big heavy thing of ice in it. And I'm fucking around doing this. I'm going, I don't have such a good grasp on this glass. I'm so paranoid I'm going to drop it. But I didn't. Derry, you looked up sneezing videos. They did nothing for you. Well, that's it's not for everyone. In fact, I believe it's for a very small number of people. It's just, it's like feet. Okay, cool. And that feet isn't even uncommon, the feet thing. But, people are different, basically. Oh, yeah, Safa was talking about that earlier because Twitter deleted a tweet from the president that was basically threatening murder. And Twitter said, that's against our rules, broadcasting threats of murder. And so, then they're saying we're banning Twitter, which is, of course, quite difficult to do. And apparently there's 40 million users in Nigeria. And you can, at the telco level, you can block the internet address for Twitter. But if people want to get around it, it probably won't be that difficult for them. So that as well, Safa, yes. Trump is officially banned from Facebook for at least 2 years. It's just been great, him not being on social media. I mean, yes, people still put his stuff on social media, but nowhere near like it used to be. And it's so much better with him not being on social media. It's remarkable the difference it makes. Dude's a fucking psychopath. He just has no concern for other people, no concern for basic decency. It's just this mad, rampant narcissism. And yeah, it's quite freaky. Oh, and even like, but you forget some things. Like someone posted a thing on Twitter today is making the fun of the way Trump stood at those things, and I thought, oh, I forgot he did that absolutely deranged thing when he was standing of like, because I mean the dude makes me look like a fitness instructor and that's saying something, because and so he developed this incredibly weird way of standing with his big sort of lean forward, trying to distract from his huge gut. And I mean, we all do things. We all do things to try and conceal bits of ourselves that we're not that happy with. But that way he would stand with that big lean forward, that was just fucking surreal. That was absolutely fucking surreal. And I'd forgotten Trump stands weird. And I mean, it was blindingly obvious he's trying to compensate for his huge gut. I mean, I just fucking live with it myself, having a huge gut. But it was so fucking strange. And yes, Shieldsy, he does look like he's got nappies on. He wears very much the wrong clothes of someone of his physique. That's it, Greg. It's his Macca's belly. He's so fucking weird. On top of being sort of evil and dangerous and vile, oh, that's right. I fucking tried to get into Twitter because I changed my password a little bit, and it's not that. Insecurity. Oh, Jesus. Okay, try this again. I'm sure. Yes, that's it. Okay. I thought I might be able to find this thing with the Trump standing weird. Actually, look, I'm just going to do a Twitter search. Trump standing weird. That's my search. Trump. Yes, here we go. Straight away. This one. This is the classic. This is the absolute classic that a photographer got. Where are we? Sharing screen. Look at that. That's the classic of Trump standing weird. It's like, what the fuck? And you can tell he's doing this weird thing where he's leaning forward. He's trying to sort of minimize the appearance of his gut, and it just looks fucking surreal. And even, look at that one from straight on. That what? And yeah, it was that one shot that was. Look at this one with him, Trudeau. Does it say? Trump stands like a centaur without the hind legs. What the fuck? What the fuck is going on with him? So weird. So very, very, very strange. Very strange person. Very strange person. That's nobody. That's another good one. Looks like he's trying to sneak out a fart. Oh yeah, Raiders, and he lies about his height. He's quite paranoid about his height, and even though like he's 6 foot, but he lies about being 6'3" or something. It's weird. He's so fucking weird. And hello, Celtic King, if I didn't say hello. So if it was Trump skinny, probably in there. I don't know if he ever was. But again, so what? He's fat. I'm fat. I just don't do weird fucking shit like that. That was because he's in denial. He's weird with his ego and stuff. It's absolutely fucking weird. But yeah, it's like, Trump being fat is no big deal, but his weird overcompensation is absolutely fucking weird. And I also love I haven't looked at a Ben Garrison for a while. Ben Garrison is this right-wing political cartoonist in the US. And he's absolutely got the horn for Trump. Like, look, this is his representation. This is his reputation. Sorry, this is his representation of Trump. And it's like, okay, I can, not that I agree with it, but I can get someone being in for Trump's policies. But this absolutely, I'm not sharing it, am I? I said, I'm not sharing it. Bloody hell. Cancel that. I'm an idiot. I need to share this. So, it is Ben Garrison. There we go. Yeah, I mean, look at it. His sexualization of Trump is really fucking strange. It's kind of like there were a bunch of Australian conservative political cartoonists who loved drawing Tony Abbott, like with wearing his speedos as a six-pack and whatnot. But at least Tony Abbott was okay. I fucking hate the guy, but he was fucking buff for a guy in his late 50s. He's like in really quite incredible shape. So at least when these cartoonists portrayed him as buff, he kind of is. But sexualizing Trump is just so fucking weird. So fucking, and this one, what the fuck? What? It's so fucking strange. Like, Ben Garrison is a fucking weirdo. He's an absolute fucking weirdo. That's a big question, Safa. Will the Democrats win the midterms next year? The big answer is who fucking knows. Anyone making predictions at this point for what will happen in that next year is full of crap. And Chris, you reckon they'll get rolled? I think that's the safest bet. I think that is by far the safest bet. But the world's so fucking weird, anything could happen between now and next year. Don't trust anyone who says the Democrats are going to do well. Oh, God, you can get Ben Garrison books on Amazon. Graphics. Yes, I want to see his latest cartoon. Okay, this one's hilarious. I got to... No. Where was it? Okay, share screen. From Garrison's site does this weird slideshow thing. So okay, this one though. No, this one. This is hilarious. He's like, "Oh, here's the comparison of Richard Nixon." Fucking this slideshow thing fucking sucks balls. Get fucked. What the fuck? Who does? God, he's a shithead. So he's got Nixon saying, "I am not a crook," and Biden saying, "I'm not a president." But the stupidity of that is, of course, Nixon was a crook. So, and that's like Ben Garrison's just stupid on top of everything else. He's equating Nixon saying, "I'm not a crook," when he was a crook, and saying, "Oh, Biden saying I'm not a president." But that's you saying Biden is a president. You fucking moron. My God, he's so fucking stupid. He is so fucking stupid. He's an absolute fucking nutcase. Oh, and you'll be shocked to learn he's also an anti-vaxxer. So it's so fucking weird. I don't know. It's just fucking weird. That's a good point, Fox. Maybe they do that slideshow thing to stop people from looking at the image too long, because they're just going to go, "This guy's a fucking moron." Yeah. But the horniness for Trump is hilarious to me. Like I said, it's one thing to say you support Trump's policies. I think that makes you worthless fucking garbage. Anyone who says, and I mean anyone who says they are an active supporter of Trump is worthless fucking garbage. Like absolute excrement. But I mean, you know, that's a thing. People are fucked. People support fucked policies and whatnot. But to be horny for Trump is so fucking weird. It's just weird. Yeah. And the dude's obsession with sexualizing Trump is just, okay. It's like you had people on the left, sexualizing Obama, but at least he was a good-looking guy. And like I said, as much as I hate Tony Abbott, I could at least acknowledge when these right-wing political cartoonists were sexualizing him. You go, well, Tony Abbott is buff. He's a fucking monster and he's a fucking weirdo, but at least he's buff. But sexualizing Trump is so fucking weird. You gotta really wonder where some people's heads are. But, well, it's right up their ass most of the time. These fucking people. Oh, nice. Kirsten got a cocktail delivered to her bed. That's service. What was it? It's 9. I'm probably done with cocktails. This is actually just orange mango soft drink. And it's nice. Surprised how nice it was, actually. It's like a 0 sugar one. And I hadn't had it before. It's like for the soda stream. And so I was just getting that. I wanted that. And I just thought it would be okay. It's actually quite nice. Annette, how did Kirsten manage that? I think by having a quality husband. Nobody'd rather put your dick in a sausage grinder than do anything sexual with Trump. It's not good. It's not good. Matt, you get a stiffy when you see the clip of Abbott eating an onion. That was so funny. Again, I'd kind of forgotten the Abbott onion thing. That was so funny. Like he's hanging out with the onion grows. Like onions are good. And he's got this brown onion with still that papery skin on it. And he just takes a bite of it. And of course, you can eat a raw onion if you want. You put raw onion on salad and what? Taking a bite out of one is odd, but taking a bite out of one when it's still got that papery outer skin on, that's fucking deranged. That's like he's not a human, and he's heard in his alien field guide for humans eat things. You eat things by biting them and chewing them. And he's gone, okay. And they've given him an onion and they've said that's a food. And he's gone, okay. And even the onion people were like, what the fuck was that? You know, they go, oh, he's our guy. He's promoting us. And he bit the onion and like, and yes, Matt, he probably eats bananas with the peel on too. Yeah. And Matt, you made Annette snort her drink. Oh dear. Luke, you probably get Uber to deliver cocktails. I know one of my local bars has a cocktail. When every time it's lockdown, they have a cocktail delivery service. Just they're not exceptional cocktail. I mean, they're good quality cocktails. I go to this bar and go out. But in terms of, get them as a treat, and they're just really bog standard cocktails. They're very well made, but they're bogs. I've got the ingredients. I can do bog standard here. If I'm going to order a pre-made cocktail, it's going to be something that I sort of can't really make. It's like I got those Archie Rose ones in the bottle, and they're very good. And the Starward New Old Fashioned is very good. I also got some from my favorite bar in the city during lockdown. Their old fashioned, they call Antifa Fashionista, which is just fucking phenomenal. It's way more expensive than the Starward New Old Fashioned, but yeah, it's more expensive. It's better, but it's also much more expensive. Ooh, and Kirsten, you're saying they've released the cocktails in new bottles. Well, I have to see that now. Let's go on the Starwood site. I'm of legal drinking age. Shop now. Fun bit of video of whiskey coming out of a barrel. Solera Nova Fortis, twofold. It looks the same on the website. Is there any way we can see a picture of it, Kirsten? Because it looks the same on the website. No, buddy, I agree. I don't care about the onion. The onion's weird, but it's absolutely inconsequential. It's his policies, and he's just an evil psychopathic fuck. He's fuck. Annette, this is giving you Scar vibes. Yeah. Pretty good. Oh, you saw them on Instagram. Okay, well now I want to. Okay, I'm going to get them on Instagram. Am I logged into Instagram on this? Let's see, because I can share it if I'm on Instagram. I am logged in. Okay. Let's search Starward whiskey. Am I not following them? I thought I was following them. Wait, what's that? Have I got a message? Oh, yeah, okay. Starward. Let me see. What have they posted? No, that's not it. That's not it. That's twofold. Oh, it's a little video. I'm not seeing it. There's a whole bunch of pictures of their ginger beer cask, which they're obviously excited by, which is a nice whiskey. I have some. Okay, I'm not seeing it. Oh well. Say la vie. Annette, your kid's really? Your kid's going to be 18. I had no idea they were that old. Stories. That might be it, Kirsten. It might have been stories. How do I see that? IGTV? Signature home sessions? Oh, whatever, man. I'm just looking. All right. Stories from a friend who's been to a drag show. Okay. I'm not going to find it. This is been and gone, been and gone. Time to move on. All right. Luke, your father started you on vodka before you're 18. That's are you sure you're not Russian, Luke? Chris, one of your insane neighbors is singing Pauline louder and louder at 4 a.m. God damn. Letting anyone in again. Wow. That's really weird. Kirsten, did I get a card when I got my ginger beer cask? I don't think so. Trying to remember. I've got a bunch of cards from Distillers Everywhere. Oh, actually, Kirsten knows what she's talking about. I just found it. Yes. Sneak peek, new look coming soon. So, yeah. I did get that card, Kirsten. I've been keeping all the cards. I've got a bunch of handwritten cards that I've got from local distillers over the last 12 months buying stuff from them. It's a worry. But yes, I do have that. So now I know that's the old bottle. That's the new bottle. I mean, the old bottle was nice. The new one does kind of look sexier. The new one kind of looks sexier. Am I so shallow? I'm going to go get one in the new bottle just because I want the new bottle. Probably, yes. But I've been thinking of getting a bottle of this because I haven't had it for ages, and it's great. Just have it in the fridge and just pour it out. Thinking I should have a bloody freezer martini as well. Make it with my preferred gin and vermouth, and then every now and then just change it up. Just going, oh, it's half down. I'm going to top it up with a different gin and a different vermouth. Annette, no, The picture is bigger. So it's smaller in the picture, and but that's just because they framed them differently. 500ml bottles. So yes, I am actually shallow enough that I like the look of the new bottle, and I might, when I see the new bottle, I might just buy one. But it's a really nice drink. So, and the only thing you need to do on your own, in my opinion, besides put it on ice, a peel of lemon, not lemon, orange. Do a peel of orange and spritz the orange oil in. I fucking love what that does to, well, almost any cocktail, but definitely an old fashioned. An old fashioned does so well with a spritz of orange. What's the one I made? This gin one, actually. The recommended garnish for that was an orange peel. And so, yeah, I was editing the video today and I remembered what I'd done. It's like, okay, here it is going to taste. Now I'm going to make it slightly different. And then there's the thing like, oh, I forgot the garnish. The garnish should be some orange peel. And so I did the orange peel and spritzed it, and it's so much better. So, yes, Annette, little orange bitters. Yes, orange bitters is excellent in an old fashioned. Also in a martini. And I know I'm not alone in that because I've seen it recommended on something. Some people might call it sacrilege, but a little bit of orange bitters in a martini is really good. In fact, I used to have a really good lemon bitters. I think it was Fee Brothers. I used to put it in my Pepsi. Man, now I want to get that. some lemon bitters and try it both in an old fashioned and in a martini. Bitters Lab probably has it. Only you. Bitters. So they've got 300 different sorts of bitters in the shop, which is just fucking great. Havana, barrel-aged Havana and Hyde, chamomile, Earl Grey, hibiscus, chili and lime, aromatic, allspice, black pepper, chipotle, cinnamon, clove, fenugreek, cumin, pepper, filthy, dirty cocktail spice. See, I like the sound of that. That sounds like it's made for martinis. Garlic. Wow. Habanero, jalapeno, pepper, piri piri, rosemary, sage, chuncho. I wonder what chuncho is. Oh, good old Angostura. So what do Angostura make? Aromatic, cocoa, and orange. Angostura cocoa. I've got a chocolate bitters. I don't use that much. So I'm not going to get a second chocolate bitters. Wattle seed, good old Aussie superfood company. I finger lime. I used it all up. So yeah, wattle seed, finger lime, lemon myrtle, rye berry, strawberry gum, mole bitters. I just love bitters. I love that shop. I love the fucking shop. Yeah. Kirsten, what's actually a boulevardier? Doesn't a boulevardier have Campari in it? Or am I getting that wrong? Because I often get things wrong. That's the thing. Yeah, I love the Bitters Lab. I love their online shop, has amazing stuff. But I love just visiting the Bitters Lab and getting inspiration, like from their 300 sorts of bitters. Ooh, what's on sale at the Bitters Lab? Aromatic bitters. Ooh, an atomizer, a mister. I need one of them. Bitter Bastards cumin bitters. Bittered Swing Denman Bitters, Bitterman's Ivor Amer, Donuts Drink Floaties, Donut Coasters, Ice Ball Set, Bitters Bottles. They're very sexy. Handcrafted tonic syrup. Liars Aperitif Dry, 30% off. That's pretty big saving. Maiden Eye Botanical Hand Sanitizer. There you go. A mojito cocktail set. Shrub. A skull ice mold. Bitters, hibiscus tonic. Mathala bitters. Love struck bitters. A tiki wall mount bottle opener. I love these things. Mint julep cup. I don't have a mint julep cup. That's 25% off. There you go. 50% off for a bar. Oh, corkscrew and whatnot. Yeah. I don't need that. Woodford Reserve aromatic bitters. Is that made in Woodford whiskey barrels? Stock had best before of October 2020. Optimum flavor may start diminishing. While bitters, like spirits, do not need best before dates, these ones have them. So this is made by the Woodford Reserve Bourbon people. And yeah, I think it's made from their bourbon barrels. There you go. Trivia. Oh, yes. Okay, yes. Kirsten, a Boulevardier is made with sweet vermouth and Amaro. Yes. What's that? Abigail, the demister is the treatment for trans women before they invented titty skills. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, so Kirsten Starwood are actually bringing out a new cocktail that they're calling a whiskey Negroni instead of a Boulevardier. See, I'm probably not going to like it because Negronis are too bitter for me. But yeah, the new Grony I got from Archie Rose has toned down the Campari elements enough that I like it. But also, because I experimented with this and it works, I also used it as a Campari substitute in a cocktail, like a cocktail called for, an ounce of Campari. So instead I put an ounce of the new Grony in. And it came out great. And even that smoke flavor carried through, even when it was really diluted, which is pretty impressive in my book, actually. It's a very well-made drink. What's the weather alert? My computer's trying to alert me to something. Severe weather alert. What is the severe weather alert? Severe weather for damaging winds in the Wimmera, north, central, northeast, southwest, central, west, east, south Gippsland. So in the country, severe winds in the country. Watch out, country people. Watch out. So, yeah, there you go. Severe winds. We get that occasionally here. I remember last winter we had a few windy days and I was very dubious about the back fence out there because it's like where I face my workday, and it's overgrown from the neighbors thing, this huge amount of ivy coming over the fence, which I think is weighing the fence down, and the fence is leaning a bit, and there was this high wind that would blow the fence back and forth, and I'd just be watching it going boom, boom, boom. And I go, that is going to fucking come down. That is absolutely going to come down. So we warned the real estate agent and said, hey, yeah, the fucking back fence is overgrown with ivy because of the neighbors. It's nothing to do with us. and really think it's going to fall down. And they didn't do anything. So it's like, cool, but we fucking told you. Learn that from past experiences. If you're worried about something, you tell them. Even when it's not going to be your fault, real estate agents being real estate agents, they're dicks and they'll give you a hard time if something happens. So if you see indications that something's going to happen, you contact them and say, here's the thing. It's now in writing. Ball's in your court. Because, I really see that back fence coming down at one point. But yeah, we're not normally down there, so no one's going to get hurt. It's just going to crush a bunch of plants if it comes down, including some of Mrs. Angry's rose bushes, which wouldn't be great. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Do I want to drink? Yeah, I think I probably want to drink some water before bedtime. Get me some water. Don't want to wet the bed or anything, you know. And yes, that was sarcastic. I don't wet the bed, but I prefer not to have to get up in the middle of the night. You get a thing where we wake up and go, oh, I really got to piss. I don't think I can go back to sleep because I really have to piss. And I hate that. And I prefer if I sleep through. But I'll put my Darth Vader mask on with my CPAP machine and go. So I didn't use it last night because after last night's stream, I just felt like I was so fucking drunk. Like, man, I can't fucking the headgear on and no, not doing it. Not doing it. And I crashed on the lounge. Then I woke up at about 5 a.m. and went to bed, but I didn't put the thing on. So I've got to go and see the specialist tomorrow for a progress report. And he's going, why don't you use it on Saturday night? And what, dude, I got fucking drunk, okay? I got fucking drunk and passed out on the lounge, and I wasn't going to do this whole fucking headgear thing. Justin, how many years since D-Day? I think it was 1946. So what's that, 75 years? '44, sorry, not 46. That's how bad my history is. 6th June 1944. So it's 77 years? 77 years. It's the 77th anniversary of the Normandy landings. So, yes, when those brave Antifa agitators went and took on the Nazis. Ha! Matt, you passed out while watching. Nice. I made it to the end, but then I was just trying to put stuff together, and I'm just like, oh, Jesus, I'm actually fucked. I'm just going to fall asleep on the lounge. I'm just going to stumble in the next room and fall asleep on the lounge. I definitely couldn't face putting my headgear on. Justin, you found your CPAP doctor condescending, so you stopped seeing him, went to see an ENT doctor. Fair enough. The guy I'm seeing is really good. He's really nice. It's very helpful. And yeah, like, because of my initial nose attachment really fucking hurt my nose. It's like this really soft silicone, but it was just agonizing and I couldn't keep using it. So he's got this other one that now, well, I showed it off on the stream, a thing that goes around the nose. But he's recommending, he says, look, there's another one that just kind of sits under your nose. I think he's saying that's better. But he's going, your nose, and I'm going like, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't hurt anymore. But yeah, it was, the inside of my nose was not used to having something there sealing it, and it just hurt so much. I found it agonizing. I had to take the thing off. So the one that covers my whole nose, it's cool. Doesn't hurt. But I think he thinks this other one's better, so that's cool. I'm going back to see him tomorrow, and I think he's going to recommend changing the nose piece again. But that's okay. But it works. It's great. I've gone from the The sleep study said I had the apnea episodes 35 times an hour. So that's more often than every second minute I stop breathing. And I think the longest recorded thing of me not breathing was more than 30 seconds. So that's not good. And so straight away, like first night, and I think even the second night using the CPAP machine, I was down to 5 events per hour, which is pretty radically different. And then since then, it's been less than 1 event per hour. So it's been between 0.3 and 0.9 events per hour on different thingies. So it's working. It's good. Nobody, you're sleepy. You're going to attend the inner eyelid study. That's a nice way of putting it, and that's absolutely fine. So Justin, your oxygen levels are low even when you're wide awake. So that's not fantastic. Hopefully the ENT doctor can help you with that. Yes, nobody. Next time will probably be Tuesday night. I'll probably be watching 6 Feet Under with Mrs. Angry tomorrow night. I think we're halfway through season 4. It's a 5-season show. It's kind of fun watching a 20-year-old show, and it really hasn't dated. I expected to be laughing at the fashions and whatnot, or the haircuts, and they're not. Stuff doesn't seem out of place. They just have 20-year-old mobile phones, which is kind of noticeable. But yeah, it hasn't really dated. It's really quite a good show, and it's quite sort of groundbreaking with new things like the gay characters having really passionate gay sex. At one point, one of the characters was using a condom, and I forget the context, but they held it up. And I was going, and this was after sex, I was going, I wonder if this is the first time a jizz-filled condom was on TV. Because it was like, from 17 years ago. It's not something you see often on TV. In fact, people usually don't even talk about condoms on TV. And this couple who were having sex, the guy's, he's like looking for the condom and he found it, and here it is. And it's like, I mean, it's probably not actual semen. It's more like egg white or something in it. But yeah, I thought, no, that's, I think it's a safe bet that was the first time there was a jizz-filled condom on TV. So Justin, you need to have nasal surgery. But you're in Canberra and your doctor's in Melbourne. Oh, yeah, you've got to wait for lockdown to end. Shit. Okay, yeah, hopefully that's going to open up end of this week. But there might be travel restrictions. Like Canberra might say anyone coming from Melbourne has to quarantine. So you might have to wait for travel restrictions to be lifted. It's the world we live in now, the world we live in. So, yeah, like I kind of thought the CPAP guy I'm seeing, I thought we'd be doing it online because there's actually a SIM card in my CPAP machine, so they can remotely read the data from it. So when he said, "Oh yeah, I said I'd see you every week," so coming on Monday, and I was like, "Are we still doing this with the lockdown?" And he says, "Oh yeah, this is a medical appointment. We're still doing it." Okay, cool. I'll come in. So yeah, because I thought it might turn into, and he said if I wanted, we could do it online, but I had to, particularly like last week, I had to swap over the nose pieces because I couldn't keep using the one I had. And so it's like, oh cool, I'll come in person, and probably going to change it again tomorrow. So going in tomorrow to see him and tell him not to judge me because I was too drunk on Saturday night to put my headgear on. Like, dude, fucking Saturday night. He goes, yeah, but you couldn't go out. I mean, I was virtually going out, okay? It was virtual socializing. What the Japanese call onnomi, online drinking. It's virtual socializing, and I socialized quite a bit. And at the end of it, I was just like, yeah, no, I don't think I'll do that. And it's also funny, like, it's Friday night. I did wear it on Friday night, but I only had it on for 6 hours. It was like between 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. And I think it's funny if he looks at that and he goes, Jesus, what were you doing on Friday night? And I was online drinking with friends. You said you did that on Saturday night. I did it on Saturday night too. Okay. I did it on Friday night and Saturday night. Yeah, Chris, well, people can still go out in our current lockdown. Like you can go and do your grocery shopping or go to a medical appointment or whatnot, and you get to go outside for exercise and that sort of thing. I get super fucking angry at people who aren't wearing masks or aren't wearing them properly. Assholes. But Justin, do I feel better with CPAP? I honestly don't. I don't sense a really strong difference, but I haven't been tired. So now just talking about it, I'm going to yawn because I'm talking about being tired. And psychologically, it's just going to make me fucking yawn. Yeah, so I mean, it's been doing, like I said, just the pure and simple. I think my sleep's been better. I think my sleep's been much better. It's weird that, and I didn't ask him last week. I've got to try and remember to ask him tomorrow. I said, when I have the CPAP thing on, it makes me, or my reaction is to do really long breaths, not to do my natural breathing. I do these really long, deep inhales and long exhales. And I think that's the CPAP machine, like the air pressure from the CPAP machine. But I want to find out if that's what everyone does, if everyone does this long, or I'm a weirdo. Is it just a thing? Yes, Chris, I got to tell him, yeah, Doc, we get on the computer, we have fun. It's, a bunch of us aren't going out that much. Yes, a decent whack of the friends are from Melbourne, and we've got the shared experience, but everyone's having weird experiences around the world. So it is what it is, as they say. Yeah, that's lockdown world. Man, the ice has shrunk. It's tiny. Like you won't even be able to see it in there, but it looks weird. It's this little clear thing, this big, little clear thing floating in my drink. It's weird. My drink being water. If you're still there, Shieldsy, okay, it's water. I think it really bothers Americans how Australians say water, because we don't pronounce the R, and we don't even really pronounce the T. We make it a D, and it really confuses and sometimes infuriates Americans, I've seen, because most Americans, apart from Bostonians, really pronounce the letter R at the end of the word. So it's water, and we go, water? And like, what are you asking for? Glass of water? It's like, what? But in fairness, in flipping, I come close to losing my shit when Americans aggressively don't pronounce the H in herbal like they pronounce the E. They go herbal. And it's not like a Cockney going, oh, mate, I've got some herbal, mate. And because that's a really soft thing, and Americans pronounce the E really hard and like pretend the fucking H isn't there. Herbs and herbal fucking gets up my nose. I mean, not in any serious, but it's just like, no, why? It fucking shits me that you do that. But then again, oh no, Mega Leech. Oh, well, you were sleeping, missed the start. But hello. Yeah, and I think, and I found this both in the UK and in the US, we're so similar in so many ways and ostensibly speak the same language and have incredibly similar customs. The little differences stand out a fucking mile. You suddenly, something's really jarring and you just go, wait, everything was the same up to here, but that's different. That's really weird. And yes, Chris, the proper pronunciation, Melbourne. If anyone says Melbourne, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yes. But again, so when particularly people from the US, but other places look at it and say, well, that's Melbourne, which makes absolute sense. But then you tell them, no, it's Melbourne. And then you think, but the herbal thing is different. That's just aggressively wrong. And I find it very confronting. It's very confronting. That one I'm not okay with. I am absolutely not okay with that. Yeah, Justin, I think Americans tend to say Canberra rather than Canberra, and Brisbane rather than Brisbane. But even with, you get some interesting regional pronunciations in Australia. I grew up calling the city Newcastle, but there are a bunch of people who say Newcastle. I'm like, what? First time I heard someone say Newcastle, I think they're from Wagga Wagga, and they said Newcastle. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying that for? It's Newcastle. When Americans say soda, oh yes, that's another one. Instead of saying solder, they say soda, and it's like, there's a fucking L there. What the fuck? And saying aluminum instead of aluminium. Like they're leaving out a letter. It's not just that they're saying alu instead of alu. They don't say minium. They say minum, aluminum. They're leaving out letters. Chris, you're going to come down under, put a shrimp on the barbie. A thing no Australian, apart from Paul Hogan. We were so confused when that ad came out. Paul Hogan, oh, put another shrimp on the barbie. All Australia was looking at that ad going, what? What the fuck did he just say? Who fucking says that? Because we don't even call them shrimps. They're prawns. Those big ones are prawns. And, but no one says put a prawn on the barbie. But, yeah, just that line. And all of Australia was looking at it going, the fuck? What the fuck did he say that? That's so fucking weird. But it was a very effective advertising campaign. There's no two ways about that. And that, you think it's a North England pronunciation, Newcastle, your mother-in-law will say, yeah, and that's fine in the north of England. But why do people do it in different regions of Australia? That's what's weird. I mean, it's like England's hilarious. On the including Scotland, Wales, and Ireland in this. You go a few miles and the accent changes. You get these regional accents, and in some case, full-on regional dialect. And it's just like, I just traveled for an hour. Why is everyone talking different? This is fucking weird. And yes, Justin, Scummo was behind the abysmal failure that was the Where the Bloody Hell Are You campaign. Such a bad campaign. Failed so badly. I remember I had a guy from the north of England once. He was out here, and I don't know, met him in the bar, and we're talking, and he's like, hey, you see bastard? And I said, bastard? And he goes, yeah, I saw they say it in London. That's not aggressive. That's not aggressive. You go, the bastard. That's not aggressive. You gotta say bastard. It's like, okay, cool. Bastard. Annette, why do you keep binging on cheese shapes? Because they're yummy. Chris, you went from Southern to Chicago accent, depending what part of Northwest India you're growing up with. Again, the US has incredibly distinctive regional accents. And I mean, you can broadly group them into a couple, like East Coast, West Coast, South, Midwest. And you get the weird ones like Boston and Minnesota as a weird accent. Justin saying Italy has regional accents too. See, because I'm monolingual, so I wouldn't fucking know. And yes, a trained ear can pick regional accents in Australia. I am not very good at it. virtually the only one I can pick is someone from the tropical north because they speak so fucking slowly. Like, what's the weather like today? That's pretty bloody warm, mate. And kind of where I grew up, Western New South Wales, people talk a bit slower too. So, yeah. Justin, you have an American accent, even though you never lived in the US. You're a US citizen. Well, you would have picked it up from your parents. The first people you learn to talk from are your parents. So you tend to pick up their accent, but that can change. I was always fascinated how a whole bunch of first-generation kids of migrants in the western suburbs all had the same accent, but they were from really different places. They would be from Greece, Italy, Lebanon, different parts of Southeast Asia. And they all have this accent, mate. What's it about? What's it about, mate? Hey. What are you doing? Who's this bloke here? What are you doing? And they had completely different ethnic backgrounds, but they all ended up with the same fucking accent. Safa, yes, you do have an accent, which I think you've makes sense from your time in Eastern Europe and from your parents. Justin, you picked it up from international schools. Okay. Abigail, you reckon there's 3 distinct accents in Australia. Thick Strine accent of country folk, the almost British accent of the southeast, Victorian Tasmania, and the northern accent. Yeah, I mean, but some people can pick a Sydney accent and an Adelaide accent and a Perth accent and a Melbourne accent. I can't. Sometimes you pick up weird things from Sydney accents, but Abigail, you can spot them as a game you play. Australian voice actor with a very distinct Queensland accent. Yeah, nice. And your younger one has an American accent. The only way she could have picked it up was from the telly. Yeah, and also, I don't know about your young Annette. Mine get it from online gaming with Americans. They actually modified their accent because the Americans had trouble understanding their accent. And so they actually modified their accent to sound more American. Just so. Well, see, Annette, the Lebanese Australian accent, I reckon that's just the Western suburbs accent. I reckon, and it's like the first generation kids of migrants, whether they were Lebanese, Greek, Italian, Southeast Asian, they all had this accent. And there were, of course, variations, but I found it was just like, to me, it was the Western suburbs accent. And they all had it, even though they came from really different backgrounds. Your Western Australian accent. Oh, there we go. You learned about the Australian accents at the Immigration Museum. Nice. Oh, Megalish, you're saying the South Australians almost Kiwi soul. That's the thing that really surprised me. New Zealand, which is a tiny fucking country, big differences in regional accents, the different major cities. And it's because, the white people that settled in some of the cities, in one city, they were mostly English. And like in Dunedin, they were mostly Scottish. The Dunedin accent can be fucking unintelligible. Like I heard one when like Mrs. Angry and I were stopped in a caravan park and this guy was talking to us in the laundry in there and he was from Dunedin. We could not fucking understand him. We were just like, what the fuck are you saying? I get the vibe you're maybe speaking English, but I literally can't fucking understand you. And then when we were doing a little tour on one of the glaciers, the guide was a uni student, but he was from Dunedin. I think it was like an educated Dunedin accent. I could pick up the same thing, but it was very clear and he was very easy to understand. But yeah, the fucking Dunedin accent can be unintelligible. Annette, you spent 12 years next door to a Lebanese family, good old Reza. Can you hear how it's blended the Lebanese and the working class Aussie accent? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely its own thing, but I mean, I had a funny one years ago. Uh, uh, had Lebanese neighbors, and the dad, he's a lovely guy, but he's really loud, and he tended to shout. I think he was shouting at his kids at dinner, like at the dinner table, because it was a semi-detached house, so we had a shared wall. So when he was shouting, we'd hear it, and it's it was. I was like, is he angry or is he just saying pass the salt? I can't tell because he's saying it in Lebanese, and he could be saying anything and whatnot. But he was a migrant. He had quite a thick accent, and super nice guy. We would talk all the time, and about the George, which is probably not his given name, but it was the name he adopted in Australia, and after about 6 months, like I'd been regularly talking to this guy, and his accent was really thick. And something tweeted and goes, "He's calling me David." Like way back when we met, we told him the names. Like, I'm George, I'm Andrew, and I know it slipped his mind, and he decided I was a David, and he started calling me David. But his accent's so thick, I didn't notice. But I've done that. You meet someone and they tell you their name, and you go, "Cool," and then you meet them and you go, "Hey, Bob," and he says, "My name's Mike," and you go, "Sorry, I'm really bad with names, Mike." But he called me David, and I never pulled him up on it because his accent was so thick. I didn't realize he was calling me David. It was like 6 months later, and I went, "Is David? Who's David?" And I went, "He thinks I'm David." And it's too late to correct him because it's too embarrassing. He's been calling me David for 6 months, and I've been talking to him. I just have to move. This is too embarrassing. I have to move now. That was the only way to deal with it, was to move. I'm joking, but I did move. Safra, is your accent thick or thin? It's a slight accent. It's not a strong accent, but it's there. Yeah, you stress over forgetting names. I just tell. In fact, I tend to warn people that when I meet them and they tell me a name, and I say, "I'm just going to apologize now because I'm incredibly bad with names, and I will probably get your name wrong a couple times or just straight up forget it. So I'm just apologizing now. I'm super bad with names." Abigail resonating with the name thing so much. Oh, it was terrible. It was so embarrassing. Chris, you were just listening to the Chicago accent for a few minutes. Nostalgia. So, your mum talk English. Your mum has a thick accent. That would be understandable. Like it's American TV very rarely showcases the regional accents. They tend to be this kind of homogenized version of the American accent. You get it a bit, that their accents are different, but they're not as different as it really is between the cities. Yeah, and because I tell you, Chris, the Chicago accent is different from an LA accent, is different from a New York accent, is very different from a Southern accent, it's different from a Boston accent, it's different from a Midwestern accent, it's different from a Minnesota accent. You get it in movies, you're more likely to get the natural accents in movies, but I always feel like the TV shows, they neutralize the accent. Chris, you're going to do a few accents next time you're on. Nice. No one on the Chicago PD TV show talks like they're in Chicago. Yep, I get it. Justin, you are correct. People have a prejudice about the US Southern accent. They associate it with lack of intelligence, which is very unfair. Same with the country or bogan accent in Australia. People do it. There's a comedian I quite like. I got to remember his name. Billy something. Comedian Billy. Billy Ray something. Billy Ray Davis, that's him. He's really funny. Billy Ray Davis is a really funny comedian. I heard him on the Behind the Bastards podcast, and he has a real Southern accent, and he has a few bits in his shows where he always brings up the stuff people think when he's in places like LA, people think he's racist because he's got this LA accent, and it gets him he's got this Southern accent. It just gets him into trouble. People make assumptions about it. And he's going, "Oh, I get it. It's the accent. I get it." He's very funny when he brings the stuff up about the prejudices people have about him and kind of force on him because of his accent. Like my favorite one is one of the routines where he's doing the jokes and some woman in the audience gets angry and says his routine's racist. And he's a left-wing comedian. He's going, "Really? What's racist?" And I'm doing a really bad Southern accent. I'll stop even trying, actually. And he's like, "Yeah, what did I say that was racist?" And when he said, "What was the actual thing I said that was racist?" she didn't have anything. She's like, "Oh, this is just racist." And he's going, "Oh, I get it. It's the accent." I didn't actually say anything racist, but I was saying stuff about people in this accent, and your brain just said, "He's saying racist things. He's saying racist things." But Justin, they say the US accent comes from the Irish. Why can't we understand the Irish? It's the Southern accent is heavily influenced by Scots and Irish immigrants, but it's ended up being totally different. And there's too much displacement. There's a theory the Australian accent is a combination of is being dominated by the Irish accent of the convicts, the fact that it's so damn hot, people are talking a bit slower, and also this one I think is taking the piss, but I have heard people say it, that because of the flies, the early convict, they didn't open their mouth when they talked, and and that's why the accent got nasal, because they didn't open their mouth because there were flies around. And I also think I think this is common around the world for colonized countries. The colonizers end up picking up an accent that's very, very heavily influenced by the indigenous people. Annette, ever heard a guy from Limerick talk? Don't know what's being said. Convinced it's fucking hilarious. Well, again, one of my favorite podcasts, Blind Boy, the Blind Boy podcast. He's from Limerick. But again, yeah, Ireland, there's a different accent every fucking town. I mean, broadly, you can go, "Oh, that's an Irish accent." But then you realize it's different. I remember in a call center I worked in years ago, we would get a lot of backpackers take a job for 6 months or so. And we had this one guy, he's a really nice guy, an Irish guy, and he had a very stereotype Paddy accent, but he's very cheerful. He's, "Oh, how you going? How you going?" And just when he was leaving, another Irish guy started, and there was a little bit of crossover when they're there. And the other Irish guy is just like, "Don't be expecting me to talk like him. I'm not from a fucking farm. I'm from Dublin." It's just like, and you go like, "Oh, I get you've kind of got the same accent, but I also hear what you're saying. He's got a country accent and you've got a city accent." And it's like really noticeable. I've heard that theory too, Justin. People saying the modern American accent is actually the old British accent. And I know people have done, academic studies where they've given, their evidence that supports that, but I don't know how you would ever know that. So, and the various sort of British Isles accents have been very heavily influenced by the number of colonizers and invaders over the millennia in that, because it's fucking changed hands a few times. you know. So there's been lots of scope from, the Picts and the Celts and the Saxons, the Romans, the Normans, the Norse, the French. Everyone had a fucking go. So that goes a long way to explaining the regional accents, just because different people were there at different times. And that's the thing that happens. Okay, I want to pour this into a little container. I'll save that for another night. I think I've got a bottle here. Indeed I do. Right. And I'm saving the curds for an experiment. This spoon will do. Right. So, just round out saving the curds from my various things. Can't even see the different colors in there, but that looks like poo. It actually looks like poo. Won't show you. But these curds, unsurprisingly, pick up the flavors of the alcohols that went in. So I'm going to experiment when I've collected more of these curds with making a paneer style curd cheese and see if it works. I don't know if it will, but I looked up recipes for paneer and all it was milk curds. I was like, okay, well, I got milk curds. They're flavored like booze, but put that in there. Taste the curds. Yeah, it tastes okay. I often taste them. Sometimes they taste terrible, and sometimes they taste nice. This one's tasting okay. There you go. Put that back in the fridge. Get my little bottle. I think used to have something from Applewood in it. Anyway, I think that's one drink. It's a bit hard. Oh yeah, no, that's one decent drink for later in the week. My little gin drink. All right, so that's for later. That's almost completely clear. It's pretty good. Well, I mean, it's clear. It's just almost colorless. Whereas this one, again, very clear, very clarified. It's got a lovely sort of rose tinge to it. That's from the cherry liqueur that was in there. So I'm going to put these back in the fridge. I don't put as a rule, I don't put the clarified cocktails in the fridge because the temperature change, I don't know, I think it makes the oils come out of solution and they go cloudy, which is defeating the whole purpose of clarifying them. So I don't keep them in the fridge. I just put them on ice so they're nice chilled. So yes, Safa, good question. What's the current British accent? It just changed. But again, I'm not sure exactly how people justify that accent because when you look at, okay, well, who were the colonizers in America? They weren't just English because particularly in the South, they were French. So you got all the various accents of the British Isles and France melding. And like I said, I think it's fair to say colonizers tend to pick up some of their accent from the indigenous people. We're a little bit on just a... But humans are a weird and complicated bunch, and who knows what the fuck is going on with them most of the time. They're very weird humans, and I don't trust them. There you go. I said it. I'm on the record. Humans, weird, untrustworthy. And now I'm going to go to bed because it's that time. I'm going to be ready for work. I properly hydrated for this last hour, so I'm a good boy. I behaved well. So I hope you all look after yourself. Like I said, probably won't be doing a stream tomorrow night, but it should be back on Tuesday. And then we'll be doing the countdown to hopefully coming out of lockdown on Thursday night, but we shall see. But take care, one and all. Hopefully see you again soon. But